Keter Passion build, post set 4, bringing you guys a deck profile today. As you guys can see, we got our pretty little high rarity guys in their rain lighting. Man, they're so pretty. Anyways, this does start our ride line. We might as well just get straight into it. Why not? So for our ride line, our very first card, our starter, grade 0 base, pretty standard. You can kind of run any one you want. We just run this because the aesthetics are so nice. It's a good looking card. Second, we got Fort, grade 1, pretty good card. When he resolves, it's huge, but most times it feels like you just burn a trigger or a card you didn't really want to burn. Oops, that is not the right card. Rooks is a little bit better. You have to reveal 3 though, instead of just revealing 2 for Fort's cost. You reveal 3 grade 3s, you get a draw card, and then he has a boost ability, but you never use it. And then the star of the show, Bastion. Card is nuts. With Bastion Prime, it's going to get even better, which is nuts. But yeah, Bastion is crazy good. Basically, when he reveals a grade 3 on ride, you can get your card, restand to give it 10k. Super aggressive way of play. You can always get it off. On Persona, he's even better. On the turn you hit, Persona ride and stuff. Anyways, but on to the main deck. We got the Keter sleeves. Just looks so nice. I mean, they're not even like Keter sleeves, but that color, man, was built for this deck. A lot of like really pretty whites and blues. But anyways, let's start off with our kind of standard, 3 more Bastions to make that the grade 4. Obviously an amazing card. You always want to see one of these to Persona, because once you get a Persona off a Bastion, it's wraps. Like turn 4 for this deck is just huge. Next we have 3 Lagrele. This will be going to 4 in Bastion Prime. I'm pretty sure you have to run this at 4 because I'm not sure if you guys know, but with the new Bastion coming out, and of course it just came out in set 3, and set 3 did just come out. This card is huge for this deck. However, it gets even better, which is why if you wanted to play this deck or get this card, I would pick them up now, because this card is so good. Because basically it's a super unique ability where you counterblast and you rest units. Basically, the more you rest, the littler cards you have to discard, and the least you rest, you have to like sometimes even ditch like the majority or your whole hand. But Lagrele is really good because you can use them, you can counterblast for him, you can rest all 4 of your other units, all 4 of your other rear guards, and then off Bastion Prime he just restands everything. And if you have 4, if you have 4 counter rest, you can literally get off 2. He's just a really good card. He's a good card right now, and he's gonna be a really good card to stay. Another amazing staple in the deck is for Alden. Alden's insane, mainly because his second ability is like so good. His first ability is amazing. You call him, you counterblast 2, you soul 1, you call another grade 3, and you draw 2. So he's like a walking pot of greed. But his second ability is so good because it stacks. It's a 5k, so every time he battles, so he gets the +2 from the Bastion, which makes him 15, and then he gets +5 from his own effect. So then he swings for 20 with no boost with Bastion, and when he gets restood, he's not only 30, but he also gets the +5 again because it stacks, so he becomes 35 off the restand, and that's no boost. And if you got a Refuerzos behind him, the 13 plus the 2 off the Bastion, now you're swinging with 50k columns off a restand on Alden. And throw a trigger in there, throw a crit or maybe 2 crits, and all of a sudden you get yourself a really scary situation. The deck can just put on so much pressure so quick. And the guy I was just talking about, Refuerzos, insanely good card. The ceiling to this card is just so high. Basically, this card is now becoming a complete staple in Bastion, especially after Prime. But basically, I guess if you Persona Road this turn, but there's other ways to get around that. But if you Persona Road, you get him off for free. Basically, when another unit in his column stands, he restands as well. So when Alden stands and gets the +35, Refuerzo stands as well, and Bastion gives +2 to everyone. So basically the whole deck becomes 15s. So yeah, it's 15 on the 35, and now you're swinging 50s. But yeah, Refuerzos is nuts. He's always useful. Whether you use the Order, Dark Strain, or just have him off a Persona Ride turn, he's just really good. A card that also is really good and super free is for Refluke. Super good card because we have no way to like really replenish soul in this deck without Refluke, and Refluke's super easy. Literally, just what I like to do is just call him off Alden, because you need to call someone to resolve Alden's effect. So you just call him off Alden, and then you just throw him in the soul and just give somebody 10k. Sometimes I'll just give him Alden 10k and just go for a big Alden column. But yeah, Refluke's super good, and he can replenish your soul because sometimes you'll burn through your soul. depending on like what you're trying to accomplish or what you have to do to win the game. Because sometimes there's games where you just have to, you know, use more soul than other. Kind of like with this card, you don't always resolve it. Sometimes you'll resolve 2 of them in the same game, and then sometimes you'll go 3 games without even seeing it. Ease Rod Angel, you Soul Blast 1, you may look at the card, you can call it, or you can just look at it, which is really good. So if you see a trigger, you can just leave it there. If you see a crit, or you know, whatever you see, and then if you see a unit card, if you see a grade 3, you can just call it to a rear. So the amount of like free Lagreles and Aldens you get off this are nuts. Ease Rod's really good, honestly. At 2, it feels like the perfect ratio as well, because we don't, it's a little like we just don't have that much soul unless we get more support that, like, you know, gets us, replenishes us more soul. I just don't see how you run more than 2. But yeah, 2 Dark Strain as well, especially for Dark Strain, for example. If you run this and Soul Blast 2, it's gonna eat a lot of your soul. This eats like half of your soul, which, you know, isn't the worst thing in the world, and sometimes it can totally be worth it, but it's not, you know, it's not the most efficient, you know, resource in the deck. That is for sure. And then anyways, we run, these are a little out of order, we run 4 PG, kind of standard PGs, you know, really good, the new Overdress PGs. So if you have nothing in your hand, you can just get it off for free. And then the orders, I don't know why I kind of did it like this, but I run 4 of this order, which might go to 3, definitely will go down in future builds. And then I am actually so glad I teched this in, Pride to Protect. Somebody recommended me to tech this in, and I'm really glad I did, because sometimes it's huge. Like, this card gets off and sometimes it's huge, and because it's an order, or I forget what exact order, but it's like the staying order, so you ditch 1 and you set it and you get it for the whole game, and then you basically get a sitting Dark Strain with only, you know, sure, ditching a card is more of an expense, but Soul Blast 2 sometimes could be even more, especially if you want to get off Ease Rods or get off this guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. Because this card is insane too. This card is really good because it gives the drive. The fact that it gives +1 drive is insane. Not only does it give you power, it gives you draw, and it gives you drive. It's just a really powerful card. Some people really are like, oh, we're like gonna run this at 1 or 2. I can still see it getting run at like 3, but I don't know if it's gonna stay at 4, just because it's you see a lot. But the good thing is sometimes you just ditch it, and it's just a card to ditch for, you know, cards in the ride line. But it's really good. It's really, really good. And it's only 1 Counterblast, 1 Soul Blast. It's not very heavy at all. Anyways, we got 4 of the Blade Feather Dragon. This card's pretty good. I actually think, you know, I watched a profile today and somebody said you don't really need this, and you don't. Like, I get they're like already kind of expensive, even the rare ones, but in any deck that needs the soul, it's this deck. So like, this trigger is actually not that bad. Like, I mean, not only is it not bad, it's pretty good actually, just because the amount of times you can actually go and like boost Bastion with just 4k, throw him into soul, give Alden another 2k just to replenish your soul on like turn 3, turn 4. It's kind of nuts. I mean, it's not nuts actually, but you know, it has its unique niches. It's a good card. 4 crit. I don't know why I just talked about a crit that long. We got another 3 crit, so that's what, 7. And then we run 4 stands, the controversial pick of the deck. This card is so good. When you stand on your turn, it's just the most god tier thing, especially when you lag reel and hit a stand trigger, and then like before you even get off your 3 primary attacks, everyone's hitting with another 10k. It just sometimes this can, people don't understand. Like, it's not a draw, it's not an objectively good trigger like a draw, which is what I would be playing if I wasn't playing the stand. However, when this shit resolves on your turn and you see fronts like going into Alden off that last column, like, these can straight up steal games. Like, this can end a game, especially in a deck like this, and especially in a deck like Bastion Prime, which is just where this deck is just like naturally going to head, like for very obvious reasons. 4 heals. Anyways, I'm like saying the most random shit, and then we have, you know, the playmat master right here as well, this over trigger, which if you don't know what it does, this is the most insane over trigger. I actually think everyone, you know, everyone's main clan, I feel like they think has the best over trigger, but this one is actually absurd. Like, this one's actually absurd, especially in this deck. Basically, especially if you see this like on a lag reel, I mean, oh my god, game's over like tenfold, because basically until the end of the turn you also perform drive checks for the battle of your rear guard's attack. So like, if you swing both with Bastion Prime, then they restand, and then you, let's say you hit this off like the first lag reel, you're getting like, you can like fucking troll like 15 drive checks off that. Insanely good over trigger, but that's obviously assuming you hit it first and can restand everything. Anyways, but card is nuts. But you know, this is the Keter build for now. I honestly really like it. It's been super fun to play. Had a ton of fun at locals last week, you know, playing the new cards. But you know, here it is. Wow, what weird order. What a weird order. The DSR Bastion, give him his prime. I just love these. Some of these SPs just look so good. And yes, it is kind of a blinged out deck. I'm blinging out Lauren Errol next. If you want to see that, give it a like. I'm building that literally as we speak. Very excited about that one too. But anyways, if you guys like this, want more header videos, want more deck profiles, check out my last video I posted too. It was a crazy box opening. I'm not even kidding. Insane box opening. You should definitely check it out. It'll be in the outro. So just click it in the outro. Stay on the Super Chase hype land of all 2 videos you can binge on this fine afternoon or morning or nighttime whenever you are watching this video. But anyways, I will stop rambling. It has been great. Thank you for being here, Super Chase. I'll see you in the next one.